And everybody's fighting for their playoffs lives right now. Everybody's laying it on the line. Everybody's competing. You see that. But, then to do it, beat the other team, but, beat the crowd, beat the, had some elements, had to beat the elements too. I mean, makes you feel like a man.
Yo, what's up? It's Chris Simms. It's Chris Simms Unbuttoned. We got two men right here talking about football. That's right. Jim Harbaugh, big win yesterday for the Chargers on the road, dethroning the kings of the football world, basically, and ending their season, right? Great day of football yesterday. We had incredible matchups. I mean, damn, we only had one game that had no playoff ramifications at all. And then, so all the greatness and the great matchups, and it was awesome, and we had something in every window. And then, of course, we had the doomsday effect as well, where Micah Parsons and Mahomes, I don't ever remember a day, and anybody in the comments, anybody out there, where two of the biggest superstars, maybe on both sides of the ball in the league, get hurt on the same day within just a few hours of each other. That's rare. If anyone else can remember one that stands out like that, I don't know. But, yeah, that hurt my soul a little yesterday.
It was tough.
I got great respect for Kansas City, Mahomes. Gosh, I feel like I have a link to Mahomes because of my days back in Bleacher Report when I said he was the guy and the number one pick. I've gotten to spend a lot of time with the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes through the years. Patrick Mahomes is impossible not to root for once you meet him. He's impossible. He's the most awesome dude. You want to hang with him. You'd want to work out with him. You'd want to catch passes for him.
Right.
Whatever, right?
The work ethic.
He's a gym rat. I remember the first time I ever went in the building, and Andy Reid's like, "Oh my God, he's that's what the word he used, gym rat." He goes, "He's a gym rat. He's here all the time. We have to kick him out." And then he's like, and he'll rip your throat out to win the game, right? So that hurt to watch Patrick Mahomes go down, be in agony. And then, listen, same thing for Micah Parsons. I don't know Micah Parsons like I know Patrick Mahomes, but I've been around Micah Parsons a few times in my life. Another guy that when you're around him, you go, man, he's awesome. Got personality, really knows the game, right? Not afraid to say what he thinks a little bit.
Loves the league.
Loves the league.
Like follows
loves
the
football.
entire league.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He is all over it. And when those kind of guys get hurt, just like I felt like when Tom Brady got hurt in 2008, where you just go, because you know how much it means to them, right? It's their soul. It's their definition of life. I was one of those people. And that's hard when you lose that. And, of course, it's even harder when you lose it when you're kind of the man and the best there is. And now it's like, wait, now I got to go back to the drawing board and get healthy and probably won't be 100% myself to start the year next year and all that. So that was a big blow to the awesome 15th week of the year in the NFL Sunday.
What we've watched with the Chiefs and Mahomes this year is almost like Rocky IV when Drago starts bleeding. You can't believe they can bleed.
Yeah, right.
And all year we were like, well, the Chiefs will turn it around now. The Chiefs will turn it around now. And sometimes it's just not your year.
Yeah.
Some roster things have caught up to them. Obviously, the war of attrition now has finally hit them in full with Mahomes.
Right.
We obviously expect, with the way he works, I think he'll be ready to roll out of the gate next year because that's just the kind of guy
I know. I
he
hear
is.
people say, no, he might not be back to midway through the year. I want to go, guys,
No way.
it's 2026 here in a few weeks. ACLs are now, it's like 6-month recovery. He'll be back for the season. Now, can he scramble around and make magic and do all that to the same capacity? Probably not. And the same with Micah Parsons. He'll be back, too, for week 1. But can he turn the corner with the same aggression, with a 300-pounder, pushing on him, and then turn the corner, as we know, and cut the edge and win speed to power and do all that? That's what you just, okay, I know he'll be out there, but is he going to be 100% Mahomes or Micah Parsons' self? That's what we'll have to see. But, big one there. And you felt like, I know we're going to talk about Broncos-Packers to start there. You felt like the Micah Parsons injury definitely took some wind out of the sails for Green Bay overall. And how could it not, right?
That was the guy.
Right?
That was the needle mover.
Exactly. I mean, I know you played sports growing up, and okay, so you didn't play in the NFL, but it doesn't matter. Anytime you're on a good team.
With a hero on the team or like a different guy, you all look around at each other and go like, who's going to be that guy
Exactly.
now? And you might not show it,
right?
But internally you keep thinking
you're worrying about it.
Right.
And also you're like, wait, you're almost in shock when somebody like that goes, you go, I didn't think he could get hurt.
Exactly.
He's Superman.
They feel like a superhero.
I've watched Michael Parsons do shit here out in the field where I've never seen anybody do that in my life. So for him to get hurt, there's that shock. And then you're on the field and you're like, man, that could happen to me. And then I think all the other things you talk about. Hey, whether you run a great 8th grade basketball team or a high school football team or college football, whatever, you lose your best player and you go, oh, man, it's hard not to let your mind slip into what's this going to mean for us for the rest of the year. Screw the game that day.
What role do I have to play now?
And where are we going to go? I mean, if I was on the field with Green Bay, I would be sitting there going, I mean, man, can we win the Super Bowl now without him? I don't know. And I think that's for perfectly normal thoughts to have as a football player when those kind of guys get hurt.
So we're going to go through every game. We're here live every Monday at 10 a.m. to recap every game. We'll be back tomorrow every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time here live on YouTube. Chris, what's crazy about these games as I go down the rundown is how all of them had a wild turning point and became something totally different. Broncos, Packers, Bills, Patriots. The Chargers-Chiefs game, which was tight the whole time, but still at a turning point.
Right.
And, of course, we'll get to Rams-Lions because that one might have had the biggest run of them all. But let's go back to Broncos-Packers here. The Broncos win 34-26. They trailed 23-14 in the third quarter. They outscored Green Bay 20-3 after Jordan Love's first interception. With this win, they clinch a playoff berth. They can clinch the AFC West this week with a win and a Chargers loss. They're 12-2. It's their most regular season wins since 2015. They won the Super Bowl that year. Man, first quarter, Bo Nix, nothing happening. Second quarter and on, Bo Nix, unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the marquee win of the Broncos year, right? This is the marquee win for Bo Nix in his career to this point. We know they beat Kansas City a few weeks ago where we're going, man, Kansas City's backs are against the wall, and they won at home, right? That was a big moment. I don't care what we think of Kansas City right now. That was still Kansas City with like, whoa, we're going to try to give one more fight. They win that football game. But this one feels a little different. This one feels a little different because it's like, okay, yeah, you're playing a team that we all kind of look at and go, as of late, whoa, Green Bay's playing about as good a football in the league,
That's
right? They're looking like they're starting to round into being a Super Bowl team. It's been 3 games in a row where you go, hey, they're playing well on both sides of the ball, and Jordan Love is in the MVP conversation. I mean, so you take their 4-game win streak, and 3 of them were pretty damn impressive, and they came into town in Denver, and we know this is a team that's got the talent to where you go, is Denver ready for this? We're going to have to see what kind of team Denver is. And so on top of that, you say all that, and I think the magnitude of the game was impressive that Denver wins the football game, but how the game played out, to your point, and I think you're spot on. I mean, we had 3 big games that were like the tale of 2 halves yesterday, right? Bills, Patriots, this one, Rams, Lions, where it was like, wait, the team that kind of controlled the first half did not control the second half of the football game at all. And early on in the football game, the Packers did. They outplayed Denver, causing a fumble, get a short field, get down in scoring range close early twice. But the beauty of the game and what the Broncos bring to the table, of course, is that defense. And the fact that the defense held them to field goals, really 4 drives they had in the first half, and came away with 3 field goals where you felt like, ooh, they're making some plays here. They could go down and get 6 here. Watch out. The fact that they were held to field goals in those moments and you felt like, wow, Green Bay was clearly the better team on the field, but they're only going in 16-14 at the half, right? We talk about this a lot. You just felt like, did they blow their opportunity? And as we saw as the game went on, of course, they did blow their opportunity.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Bo Nix, 303 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. His 3rd career game with 4+ touchdown passes and no picks. That tied John Elway for the 2nd most in team history.
When are we going to start giving Bo Nix a little respect here? When is it? I know because he had these haters in college, right?
Right.
And we've seen this where it seems to take, it takes a while for people to come around and get off their haterism.
It's a pre-draft bias.
It's a pre-draft bias, and nobody wants to buy into it.
Players do change.
They do change. Exactly right. They get better. And I think sometimes, hey, we misevaluate. I misevaluated Drake May at North Carolina. Man up, and you're wrong. I'm wrong, Chris Simms. Chris Simms is wrong. I know that. Okay. Same thing here. I think people hold on to that too long. Even last year, he did a lot of great things as a rookie. They go to the wild card round as a rookie, and nobody wanted to give him respect. This year, I know it's not pretty, but we've talked about it a lot. They don't have a great talent around him in the passing game.
Like
it's
an
not
elite
that.
wide receiver.
Exactly.
Run
and
game
he's played good, but he's been a little all over the place.
Sure.
I get that. But I think we all see the potential of Bo Nix, or you should. I mean, smart kid, right? Good athlete, pretty damn good arm, really good making backyard plays, throwing the football in the run, accurate intermediate to short thrower, really good deep ball thrower too. So all of that, you look at that. I thought yesterday was really the best I've seen Bo Nix play.
I think so, too. And Sean Payton, I think, would agree. He had some interesting quotes after the game on just the growth that Bo Nix is starting to show.
Look, I can only compare it to, like, running a half marathon once, the year I was suspended, and it was in Las Vegas. And so every mile they had a band and Gatorade. I think he's like at mile marker 4, taking the Gatorade. They give you the goo at mile marker 9, and that was like rocket fuel. It was needed. But I think, look, early in the process and in improving, and the thing about him is, like, he loves playing, and so that's contagious. And that's a really good trait for a player at his position.
Loves playing.
When people say he's a gamer, right? That's part of being a gamer a little bit, right? We've seen a few games this year where the first 3 quarters are not that good. And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, you got to start pushing the envelope. You got to make this throw. You might have to scramble and buy some time here. We can't just throw it away or whatever. And he makes that happen. I think it is because of the love of the game he has. He does. And then on top of that, we need to start respecting his talent a little bit. Well, we do. You saw some of the throws he made yesterday. I mean, there were some big-time throws, tight windows, pushing the ball down the field, whatever you want to say. Early in the game, he starts out 11 for 12, right? And like you said, the first quarter wasn't pretty, but that was the only thing working. And nobody was really open. Every play I saw, replays, right? We got all these views in the viewing room where I went, nothing there. But Bo Nix was kind of early in the game, just kind of back. I'll slide up here. Make a throw here. I'll run an extended play, make a play here. That's kind of what he did early on. And then as the game settled on, and I think they figured out how Green Bay was playing him, he started to become surgical in the pocket,
That's exactly right.
And started to make some unbelievable throws, decisions, everything there. Right? And then, so all of that, we talked about the fact that the Broncos, we know as a Super Bowl defense, Green Bay couldn't score touchdowns. That was huge. And every time Denver got down there, they scored a touchdown. And you talked about plays that change the game. I think the play that changes the game is the Patrick Surtain interception. It's 23-14. It's at a moment in the game where you go, whoa, Green Bay just went down the field in 3 plays. Big throw to Jaden Reed, somebody else, and then Josh Jacobs broke a 40-yard touchdown run, and you're like, they're up 9, and they look like they're rolling. And then they make a stop right away on defense and get the ball back. And you go, up by 9, Green Bay's going to attack. You know that. They never take the foot off the gas pedal. Maybe to a fault. It's one of the things we've questioned about Green Bay is they're just too aggressive down the field all the time.
They're going to shoot their 3-pointers.
They're going to shoot their 3-pointers. And
they could be on a fast break and they pull up from
exactly.
That's like what it kind of reminds me of.
Right.
And sometimes that blows the doors off the game.
It does blow it open sometimes.
But
and
sometimes
they went for
you
the
miss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they went for the jugular. And I understand. He's got Christian Watson going deep on a post. Patrick Surtain makes a defensive MVP type of interception.
Against one of the best athletes in the NFL.
Right.
I couldn't believe he closed the gap.
He closed the gap. Runs right with him, and then makes, incredible. The ability to play the ball, right? That's what makes Surtain awesome. So he makes that play right there, and it felt like the game was never the same from that moment on. Denver went right down the field, scored a touchdown, made it 23-21, made another stop, went right down the field again, and all of a sudden it got into like, they can't stop Bo Nix. They can't stop him anything. When they cover, he runs or scrambles and finds a completion. When they don't blitz and they can't get there, he's in the pocket dicing them up. And that's where I'll go back to. We need to start respecting Bo Nix more. And that was the best game of his career. And that was a statement win. And the Broncos, I think, 12-2. And I discussed this with Mike. 12-2 with still paying over $30 million to Russell Wilson and dead money. Like, that's a few players on your football team they're missing.
Right.
So they're only going to get better this offseason, too. But, yeah, that was a huge win for them.
Yeah, Bo Nix, surgical, like you said, Chris. Green Bay, obviously, they play a lot of zone, and he ate him up. He was 7 for 9 against cover 3. He was 7 for 9 against quarters.
It's Green Bay's problem. We've said this a lot. Green Bay's ability to play man-to-man in big situations is the number one thing I question about their football team. They're not a great man-to-man team.
They basically just said we can't do it. He only had 6 dropbacks against cover 1. And he was 2 for 4. He averaged almost 9 yards per attempt on those, but they were just like, we'll just die the slower.
Yeah, they exactly right. They tried to play that way. And I don't know. If I'm playing Denver, I maybe would play the other way a little bit.
Right, challenge them
a little bit. I don't know if any of their receivers are that scary, right? Because, you're playing somebody like Sean Payton and Bo Nixon. If you play too much zone, I'm all for zone, but I think one of the themes of our podcast is really good defenses have to play man-to-man in some situations, right? We know that 3rd and 4 in the NFL, if you think you're going to play zone with all these freaking crazy plays and formations as good as the quarterbacks are, they're going to find a way to get a 5-yard completion. You got to play some man to make those windows tight, make the throws tight, and then, of course, you can blitz some pressure off that a little too, and that is definitely one of the things you worry about with Green Bay here coming down the stretch.
On the Green Bay side, somehow after all of this, they are the 7th seed in the NFC.
Well,
goes to show you what the NFC is like now.
Them and the Bears. I mean, the Bears went from the 1 seed to the 7 seed, and now they're back to the 2 seed.
And it's a half-game difference. Green Bay is just a half game behind Chicago. Of course, they are going to see each other on Saturday.
Yeah,
so
that's going to be a big one.
Yeah, so they control their path to the division title still. Micah Parsons feared to have a torn ACL. Christian Watson. The other side of that play was, besides the pick, is that Watson left the game.
Got hurt, right. And hurt his shoulder. And
they're calling it a chest injury.
Is it a chest?
When they say chest, though, sometimes can't that be
It could be, right. It could be that
tied
area.
To the shoulder?
You don't know, right. It just feels like I got pain over here, right?
But he did travel back with the team.
That's
which
good.
Is a slight positive. But, yeah, Green Bay,
they're not out of the woods.
No.
And to lose a game like that, and I still expect them to make the playoffs here. I know that. But at the same time, going to Chicago on Saturday night is going to be tough. Chicago is damn good. We saw that. And then the next week after that, they got the Baltimore Ravens. So you look at that and go, damn, the Packers don't wake up here. They lose 2 games in a row. They'll be sitting there week 18 against the Vikings, maybe playing for their playoff lives with as crazy and as close as the NFC is to your point there. So we'll see. But incredible. They're one of the hottest teams in the sport. And then to go into Denver and kind of have control of the game and lose control of the game and then kind of be dominated towards the whole second half of the game for the most part, I think that was kind of shocking to me for sure.
All right, our next one here, this was a huge division matchup and kind of stunning. The Bills beat the Patriots 35-31, but as most of you know, the Bills trailed this game 21-0. They outscored the Patriots 28-7 in the second half. 21-point road comeback ties the largest in team history for them. 3 wins when trailing by double digits this season, most in the NFL. Not a surprise there, Chris, but man, it just felt like when the steam engine got rolling for the Bills in the second half, there was no answers. We haven't seen New England look like this really at all this year, it feels like.
I don't know. Is there a better momentum team in football than the Buffalo Bills? Right?
Josh Allen is just
the
when
best
they get momentum player.
Exactly right. I mean, just like we saw last week with the Cincinnati Bengal game. It was like, they're going to get blown out of the water.
Right.
And then they just make a few plays, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you can't stop them, and they're blowing the other team out of the water all of a sudden. I mean, it's just that's what's amazing about the Buffalo Bills. Really, really is. I mean, they were completely dominated early on in this football game. I mean, my first few notes of the game are like, man, Pat's right down the field, balance. Drake May throwing it, running it, balling, legs, wow. Pat's doing whatever it wants. 14-0. 94-yard drive, Pats doing what they want. Pass, run, balance. These are my first 4 lines of my damn notes there, right? Bills can't stay on the field, can't do anything early on in the football game. I mean, the Pats run for 176 yards in the first half. Drake May makes a few runs, a few throws. You feel like they're in a different class a little bit, right? There's, again, turning point. Here's 2 turning points to me that you mentioned, because I think it's a good little theme here. Down 21-0, the Buffalo Bills special teams. Ty Davis had a big kick return and got face masked. So there they are, 21-0. Instead of starting on their own 30 or 25 or 35, we're going, oh, man, we haven't moved the ball. We got to go the whole field here. Oh, can we put it together? It's like, no, here's the ball at the 40-yard line. Right. Just make a few plays, and maybe we can get jump-started. So that gets them going a little bit, right? Because they had no momentum at that point. The Patriots get a field goal before the half to make it 24-7. Bills get the ball to start the third quarter. Guess what happens to start the third quarter? Another big kick return by Ty Davis. So here you are going, we're down by 3 scores, 17 points. But little plays like that just take a little edge off, right? A little of the pressure. Again, to go, oh, okay, we only have to go 40-something yards to score a touchdown. And that felt like it just ignited their offense a little bit. Gives you that confidence, gives you a little momentum, and that's where Buffalo, I think we both agree, they can ride these waves of momentum better than anybody in the sport, and all of a sudden, they go all in. That's where I look at the Bills. That's where they're crazy. They're one of the best second half, if not the best second half team in football.
Last 2 weeks
speaks to their coaching adjustments and everything. I think they are even for the league. I think nobody's outscored the Bills in the second half, right? So they have that, and they're just not afraid to go for it. What I mean by that is, whether it's fourth down on offense or, hey, it's 3rd and 3 and you're playing some crazy coverage up at the line of scrimmage, they'll throw it deep and go, well, you're going to throw it deep? We'll do that, right? They have no conscience with that. And then even with the defense, we're being outplayed. They're running the ball. It's 1st and 10. Let's all out stop the run here, right? They'll take those kind of chances, right? Let's get them behind the 6 and get them to 2nd and 14 right off the bat. Then we could go all out pass defense, right? And that's when McDermott becomes really awesome. So his ability to push the envelope with the defense, along with him also giving the green light to the offense to go ahead. Let's go into Josh Allen crazy mode. Joe Brady, please get Josh Allen into crazy mode. Call every play you got, run him, do everything. Tell him he can scramble and do whatever he wants. It's time to go. And they do that, and all of a sudden it's like, here they go.
Yep.
And it's incredible how they do that. I'm amazed by it.
The run game in the second half is a great call out. I mean, you had Josh Allen averaging 4.5 yards per carry. You had James Cook averaging 5. So in between all the crazy, because the air yards went up by about 4 yards in the second half, so they were pushing the ball down the field through the air.
Exactly.
But then the run game remained efficient.
They did.
And then, like you said, sprinkled in that Ray Davis had 2 returns that were monster returns.
Timely monster returns that just gave them a little hope. And, of course, makes the field short, doesn't make you waste more time driving down the field, doing any of that. But the second half, all of a sudden, totally flipped on its head to where, McDermott gets it going with the defense. All of a sudden, the Patriots can't run or do anything. Drake May's in the pocket, unable to find anybody open in the pass game. It's all getting stalled out. And then they're getting the ball back, Buffalo. And as we always see, it's not always about the stats with Josh Allen. It's like, it's a big third down. Unbelievable play. It's 3rd and 14 after a bad penalty in the red zone. He scrambles and throws a laser for a touchdown to Dawson Knox like only 3 people in the freaking world can do it, right? That's it's the moments with Josh Allen. But then, and this is where, hey, they're scary. And this is, to me, their other elite part of their team, right? And I know I question their team at times in Buffalo, but they're running the football, like you said. It was special. I mean, it was special. It felt like they owned the trenches in the second half. Every run felt like it was up the middle, 5 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 10 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 10 yards, right? It was all that. And then it felt like New England got a little bit of we don't know what to do. We're a little scared to blitz because we pressured a few times and they made a few plays. So now we don't blitz, and now he has all day, and he's being patient today. He's not leaving the pocket too quickly, and he's sitting there waiting for people to come open, and now we're finding completions down the middle of the field, which you're talking about, more air yards in the second half and all that. And that, to me, is what I talked about on Football Night in America last night. Buffalo seemed like they owned the second half. They owned the middle of the field, and what a great win for them on the road.
And to your point about the blitzing of, if you do, and damned if you do, damned if you don't, they blitzed 7 times in the second half, the Patriots, but every single one was a 5-man rush.
It was.
I actually would argue that might be the worst way at times to attack the Bills. Because, one, they have continuity on the O-line and a smart quarterback, so they often pick it up.
Yes, right. Exactly.
So, really, you're almost just playing man down on the back end. You kind of should just drop everyone or bring
everybody.
Or 7.
Yeah, it's the predicament
hard.
He puts you in because a lot of teams want to rush 5 because they just feel like it takes away his lanes, right, to run and do all that. But you're explaining it perfectly. He's too smart. They're too well coached up that where you blitz 5, like we've talked about with other teams. We talked about this with Green Bay last week when they were playing the Bears, right? Scary blitz in Green Bay because they pick it up and all of a sudden they take shots down the field. And, they picked up 5. And then, when you pick up 5, as we always talk about, that means there's one less guy back in the back end and there's going to be a big hole. And if you can pick it up and kind of win those pass protection matchups, more times than not, Josh Allen's going to find that open guy and gash you that way. His legs, James Cook's legs, just a smattering of plays by the receivers here and there and the tight ends. That's all they needed, along with unbelievable defense in the second half.
So the Bills move within one game of New England now in the AFC East. They can clinch a playoff berth this week with a win and a loss by either the Colts or Texans. New England's one-game lead over Buffalo in the AFC East. They can clinch a playoff berth as well with a win this week at Baltimore or a loss by, once again, the Colts or Houston.
Yep, right.
Let's take a look at the remaining schedules because this division now has gotten much tighter. That snapped a 10-game win streak for the Patriots as well.
Patriots got some work. We know that.
Yeah, this was the craziest number, too. That snapped a streak of 133 home wins when the Patriots were leading by 17-plus points.
Yeah.
That was the longest in the NFL.
That's shocking.
They don't
We've
give up
seen
leads.
Mike Vrabel. I mean, we know Belichick knew how to manage the game with Brady forever. And Mike Vrabel's been a master at managing football games. I mean, he has. But, again, with this guy, number 17, modern-day John Elway, the best player in the NFL right now, just so everybody knows. I know Matthew Stafford's going to win the MVP. Josh Allen is the best player in the league. I don't think that's really questionable. We come away every week in the NFL, almost every week. And no matter where I go, it doesn't matter about being here in the viewing room with Jason Garrett or Devin McCourty, or I go to the gym later today, somebody's going to go, man, is Josh Allen amazing? Is it Josh Allen? Josh Allen. I mean, he owns the week usually every week with people in amazement of what he does. I mean, it is incredible that way. And I just can't give him enough credit for that. There's nobody more valuable to their team than Josh Allen. He does everything for them. And then on top of that, Brandon Beane, McDermott, they've got the right guys that fit how they play, how they want to play in their system, right? Their culture guys that are gritty and tough like Allen and McDermott are too and all that. I know I question at times whether they have enough blue chip players on both sides of the ball, but they got a lot of good on their damn roster. I know that. I know. And we'll see. But that was an impressive win yesterday and certainly makes me think a little differently about them, that they went into New England and pulled that off right there.
A man is the door open because he's going to be going into a postseason with no Joe Burrow, no Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
I know it doesn't mean the path is easy because Denver's really good. The Patriots are really good. But it just is a much different avenue where you look at it and go, don't let this opportunity go to waste.
Yeah, well, I think, like we know they can beat New England. I think we all look at it and go, I don't know if there's any slam dunk team in the AFC, right?
No.
Everybody has their flaws. And we're probably sleeping on teams like Jacksonville, who are more talented and better than people realize, but just everybody wants to see them win a big game before they buy it. Houston, as you know, I think everybody is sleeping on.
I think they're the best team in the AFC if a game was played in the next hour.
Yeah,
That's
right.
I don't think anybody's playing better than them. Obviously, Denver, though, is right in that conversation.
Right, and they went toe-to-toe, as we know, 5-6 weeks ago, certainly. But, yeah, that was a good one by Buffalo. And Buffalo, again, some of the plays, the fourth downs, the gotta-have-it moments, the fourth down pass interference / interception play by Marcus Jones, the pass they get. Yeah. That was another big moment. All right. I think we had 4th and 4. He throws the pass to Khalil Shakir, and they call pass interference, which I don't agree on.
Sure.
All right. But that's okay. The craziness of that play is they gave Khalil Shakir the catch while he never caught the ball.
There was
at
a
any
few
point.
of those yesterday.
At no point. At no point did he have more than one hand on the ball. Never. Marcus Jones had the ball. He falls to the ground. One hand is on the ball. The other hand is holding Marcus Jones. And they got up and said, Khalil Shakir caught the ball. First off, the catch isn't completed until you survive the ground.
Right.
When they hit the ground, Marcus Jones had the ball. What are we talking about? Common sense lost again. That was a big moment of the game. I would like to have not seen that call called. Regardless, I understand it in the current NFL, so I'm not going to be too mad at that. But the whole process was a little messed up. And, yeah, that was a big moment because that got them down there. And then that led to the 3rd and 14 touchdown pass that he threw the laser to Dawson Knox in the end zone. And it kind of felt like they really took control of the game right there.
Another big one in the AFC. The Chargers beat the Chiefs 16-13. This eliminates the Chiefs from the playoffs. It snaps a streak of 10 straight playoff appearances. That was tied for second longest in NFL history. Obviously, the Patriots with 11 straight. That was from 2009 to 2019. is the actual record. Cleveland also had 10 straight from 1946 to 1955, but a lot of people didn't know that.
Wow.
Learn a little something new each and every day.
I probably could have figured that one out. I think so. I mean, I knew enough. I'm a historian that they were good back in those days like that, right? But it would have took me a few minutes.
So for this one, Chiefs playoff streak is snapped. Patrick Mahomes, though, is the story of this game. He unfortunately suffers a torn ACL in the fourth quarter. Just awful, Chris. Obviously the book is not closed for these two at all, but what a consecutive run this really was with Andy Reid and Mahomes.
One of the greatest dynasties we've ever seen. And for it to end like that, right, where it's like, no, okay, one thing to lose, but you're going to lose and we're going to snap the ACL of one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. It was like, rubbing the guy's face in the dirt a little bit after they were already kicking them while they're down.
Salt in the wound?
Yeah, salt in the wound. It hurt. It hurt. It hurt me as a guy that roots for those human beings out there in Kansas City. It's one of the greatest dynasties we've ever seen. There's no denying that. To go to 5 of 6 Super Bowls, nobody's ever done that. Even the greatest dynasties there are. So that's incredible. The fact that the floor was the AFC Championship game for Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs, his whole career is out of this world. So let's not take that for granted and how special what we just saw there. But at the same time, we saw all their flaws once again yesterday. All of them. I mean, again, this isn't even a Chargers team that's at full strength. I think that's the biggest thing you look at. But offensive struggles, right? Defense that's good but can't ever make the play in the big moment, it seems like this year. It goes into, they're exhausted from climbing, the mountain so many years in a row. Sure, the lifeline of this team might be over. Soft rebuild, whatever. Something's got to come here. We discussed a lot during the year, big-time playmakers don't exist on Kansas City right now. We discussed the receivers. Travis Kelce's at the end. Chris Jones is good, but still not the superstar we once knew. I mean, there was a time here where, they had everything. They really did. And right now you just look at it and go, okay, offensively, Mahomes and a few offensive linemen are blue chip, but everybody else, Rashee Rice is real good, but teams aren't doubling Rashee Rice. It's not to that extent, right?
Yeah. You'd like him to be one of the more high-end number 2s in the league.
I think that's what you really
I know
want
that
from
people
Rashee
might
Rice.
be like, really? And I'm like, yes, really.
Yeah, really.
Maybe the best number 2 in football, but instead he has to be the pass game, the entire pass game.
Exactly right. I mean, I think they drafted Xavier Worthy hoping he could be 1 and Rashee Rice could be 2. And that's not working out. So they need to find some difference makers on both sides of the ball. Think about their defense for years. I mean, one, not only was it talent, but it was like Chris Jones is the best defensive lineman in all of football. Oh, they have maybe the best duo as a corner in football. Shut down guys, can lock you down, and McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed, all of that, right? And we're just not there. Also, on top of that, the league is caught up to what they do a little bit. People have stolen Spagnuolo's stuff and what he does on the defensive side, and everybody has stolen the Chiefs stuff, and they're going to have to reinvent their offense a little bit, as we saw. But, it was another day of, holy crap, is it hard for them to move the ball? Holy crap, is anything ever easy for them? Even their drive that started the game, the first touchdown. I mean, it's not easy. He's got to scramble. He's got to make plays. There's no run game to rely on. And as you know, if you're not balanced against the Los Angeles Chargers and you think you're just going to drop back and pass all the time, you're crazy. That's how they kill everybody. And as the game went on, we saw Mahomes and that offense really struggle finding any ways to move the ball.
Do you think there's an offensive structure problem? Because all people ever talk about with the Chiefs is the roster's not as good. I see people all the time say Mahomes isn't as good, which I don't agree with at all.
Right.
But do you think the actual structure and play calling, because they've had a lot of turnover from the staff. Yeah, Andy Reid is always there,
right.
But it's not the same play caller and offensive staff.
No, it's got to change. It's got to change.
Okay.
I like I said, I think the league is caught on because everybody, they were the team that started all these crossers we talk about. Deep crossers, double deep crossers, 2 deep crossers with a post over the top. Fake the cross, run back out with another cross over the top. I mean, that's what they've done, right? Guy running a corner route, guy fakes the crossing route, comes back out, and we have a crossing route coming that way.
It felt like backyard football routes.
It was because they went, synchronized. We got this quarterback, and he knows, and within this, at least he can, maybe if he has to scramble or move, everybody are in this area, and he can make it happen. But the league has caught on to how to defend it. And, yeah, I don't think there's enough systematical destruction in their offensive passing game. It's a little too much, hey, you guys just run that way and you guys run that way and we'll figure it out. Instead of like, let me just take it off, or instead of like, let's just say the Rams, where they're like, we want you to run this route at the acute angle of 45% and then take this trajectory, and we're going to tell this guy to push his leverage in, and then he's going to come out, and we're going to have it, hey, Matt Stafford, you just read this guy, and it's either that guy or this guy, he'll be open. And it's a little more way to do it, right?
Yes,
okay?
That is the exact structure of how he speaks.
But that's kind of like what I'm talking about, where there's real rules and what you should do on a play-by-play basis, and sometimes it doesn't feel quite like that with the Chiefs on the offensive side of the ball.
So for the Chiefs now, a little bit of a maybe roster reset because it did finally catch up to them. Even I was looking back as you were talking about like what they don't have anymore. His numbers didn't always jump off, but Frank Clark made the Pro Bowl 3 times in Kansas City.
You're exactly right.
3 times in a row.
You're exactly right. Karlaftis last year was better than this year. He's fallen off, right? Nick Bolton's not having the year.
Right.
You know, we underappreciated some of the safeties they had in their prime. Juan Thornhill was damn good for a period of time. Justin Reed was damn good.
Yep.
Right. So, you know, they're not there. Nick Bolton and Willie Gay at a time were special in the middle with their speed and their kind of their instincts that way. So, yeah, they're missing some of that element on their football team. And, yeah, they're going to have to kind of retool and refly. Mahomes will be ready for week 1 next year. Everybody, I keep hearing, oh, he might not be back till halfway. It's 2026, guys. The ACL thing is like 6 or 7 months, like we talked. He'll be back. It's just, is he 100%? Now, let's go to our moment 2 in this game, because there was a moment. It's 13-3 right before the half. The Chargers get the ball at their own 40-yard line. They haven't done anything.
Nothing.
And all of a sudden, Herbert hits 2 or 3 throws, and they're down there in scoring position, and there they are with 10 seconds left. They're going to take one shot in the end zone. And again, this speaks to the Chiefs and what they are. We haven't seen this type of stuff. Herbert kind of under pressure in the pocket, kind of throws a wobbly ball, and Keandre Lambert-Smith catches it in the back of the end zone, and all of a sudden you go, whoa, the Chargers got their ass whooped in the first half, and it's 13-10. Right? And as we know, that's always a cautionary tale of like, man, if you didn't put a team away or put them down by a lot when you had the chance, we know these teams usually rebound. And it felt like from that point on, the Chargers, even as ugly as it was, kind of controlled the football game.
Now the Chargers just 2 games behind the Broncos in the AFC West. They're the 5 seed in the AFC. They can clinch a playoff berth this week with a win and a loss. Once again, you're going to keep hearing the Colts and the Texans brought up in that. As we look at the AFC picture right now, the Chargers are 5-0 in division games this season.
I would be shocked. I mean, again, Chargers and Broncos, I fully expect to be in the playoffs and be a player. Now, the Chargers are not at full strength, and this is where I give them a ton of credit. Be dealing with some of these injuries. Justin Herbert is under human assault in every football game. It's horrible.
It's really tough. It's a tough watch.
It's tough for them to pass protect for anything substantial to throw down the field. But they run the right plays in the running game against the right looks. And with Omarion Hampton back, it does give them a different look in their running game. So that gives them a fighting chance. And then, of course, we know their defense is pretty damn good. Like I said, if you don't keep the Chargers honest with that run game a little bit, and you just let Jesse Minter call pass defense, what did they have yesterday? 5 sacks. And I would tell you, none of them really were like, oh, my gosh, they're just all over Mahomes. It kind of was like, oh, nope, nobody's open. Oh, no, nobody's open. I'm going to get sacked, right?
Yeah, like a schemed
coverage sack. That's what they're amazing at. And that's where they're going to be a pain in the butt as they go forward. But, yeah, I worry about that offensive line.
Jim Harbaugh with some big praise for this team. Starting to think of this as my favorite ball team I've ever been on. I think I've been on a lot, and I've been on some good ones. None better than this ball team.
They're
probably because of what they've been through, I would think. That's why.
It's like him.
Yes.
It's like, I'm in the corner and I'm taking shots, but I'm going to still keep fighting, and I'm going to put my khakis on the next day.
You'd rather win this
my
way.
Big glasses, and we're just going to keep fighting, and I'm going to win. And as we discuss a lot on the show, teams usually take the personality of their coach, right? What are they? Tough as hell. It's not overly creative, but all the essentials and things you need to be a successful football team, right? Details, tackling, blocking, the basics. They're always good at that. And that's where I give Jim Harbaugh and the Los Angeles Chargers a lot of credit. I mean, they're one of those where you go, man, what if, right? I a little bit. Like, what if Joe Alt and Slater and that O-line was healthy? You'd go, they could go to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
But now you're just like, hey, I hope they can win a game in the playoffs or do any of that. Maybe they prove me wrong, but nonetheless, big win for them and a devastating day. And, of course, I feel bad for my friend and Patrick Mahomes.
We're going to take a quick break. When we're back, we're going to talk the top 2 NFC teams right after this.
He's unbelievable. I mean, the guy just produces. He's so tough. You know, there's a couple times where he just drags guys with him where he's saying, just get down so you don't leave yourself. I thought he got hit in the back of the head. He was just cramping on the one that he caught over the middle before he ended up hitting Colby for the touchdown. But he's a stud. He epitomizes everything that we want to be about, as do so many of our players. But it's like Pac-Man. He just eats up yards and catches. And, but he is so tough. Go ahead. You like that one, huh?
Sean McVay, man. Yeah. Give me the headlines presented by Hyundai. He's just, I could listen to him talk and just kind of laugh even when he's not trying to be funny for days.
He
can't take a breath. It's amazing.
Breath. The vein on his neck starts to pop because he's squeezing air.
Yeah.
Like,
no
trying to squeeze these last few words out before I have to take a breath again.
And then he's like, you like that one, right?
He's amazing.
It's awesome.
And he's always on it. And he couldn't be a nicer human being. Another guy like we've talked about before, Josh Allen, Mahomes, whoever. It's when you meet them, it's pretty impossible not to root for the human.
Feels authentic.
It's authentic. It is, and he's, as I always say, he epitomizes the psycho in a good way that we talk about with a lot of good coaches in the NFL.
The Rams beat the Lions 41-34. Chris, what is the headline for this wild game?
Playoff berth, okay? And it's a little bit of a double entendre? What the hell do you call that, right?
Entendre.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I said that right.
Yeah.
Well, one, they did go to the playoffs. They did go to the playoffs, so that happened. And Mr. Psycho there had to rush to the hospital because his wife was giving birth to the second baby today. So it was a double whammy, 2 births on one Sunday afternoon. Way to go, Sean McVay. Only you could pull that off right there.
That is unbelievable. Per Jay Glazer, this is from Blaine Gersick. Rams Sean McVay will be on his way to the hospital after beating the Lions as he and his wife, Veronica, are expecting their second child. So the playoff berth is here in multiple ways, a double entendre.
Okay, Veronica, this is what we're going to do now. You're going to push. You're going to push.
But not until after the game, okay? It's just, the timing is impeccable. It really is. And it's not surprising from Sean McVay. The Rams, the first NFC team to clinch a playoff berth. They remain the number 1 seed. They control their path, not only through the division, but to that number 1 seed, and the most wins for them since the Super Bowl winning 2021 season.
The Rams still continue to be the team that I think is the best team in the league as we sit here right now. I know they don't have the best record, but the way they win and the way they play, right, I don't see a lot of flaws with their team. Of course, their defense has not been totally sharp as of late, and I think they're another team that I think they could probably play a little bit more to man-to-man. If there's a thing that scares me, like we talked about with Green Bay earlier in the show, I'd go, I wish they were a little bit better at man-to-man. Because as we talked about, right? What's that?
Barely any yesterday. 11%.
I think
That's wildly
they
low.
know they can't run with Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, right?
Fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But it's one of the flaws of their team, I think, a little bit, is that they play so much zone that we see some good quarterbacks and offenses, just they move the ball a little too easily in the pass game if the pass rush isn't getting home, okay? And that's the big thing. But I think the big thing more than anything is that it's just – where do you start with the Rams offense, right? What's the weakness? Where do you shut them down? It's pick your poisonville with them. Oh, we're going to overplay the run. Well, have fun then dealing with Stafford and Puka and Devontae Adams. Have fun. And their tight ends that can all run the ball. Oh, we're going to stop the pass. Well, here comes 2 or 3 tight ends in the game, and they have an incredible creative running game with 2 really good backs, right? And they don't even need to be that creative. They're good enough up front sometimes where they're just like, we're coming straight ahead, and we're going to move you, period. So that's where they're incredible. They have an answer for everything on the offensive side of the ball. Took them a little while to get going and crack the code here with the Detroit Lions, right? I thought they would kind of hit the ground running in a different way. But the play, they make a big pass to Puka Nacua at the end of the first half that set them up for the field goal, and you felt like that was the point in the game that kind of, okay, here they go. And then that kind of started into the second half, and as we know, in the second half, another one of our games of tale of 2 halves where you felt like Lions played better football in the first half of the game and had their way and did whatever they want. Jared Goff was throwing the ball everywhere. Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, zoom, flying around everywhere. But in the second half, Goff was uncomfortable in the pocket. They had a hard time staying on the field, and the Lions' run game never got going. And slowly but surely, the Rams' offense started to heat up, and the Lions' defense had no answer at all.
What's jarring to me in this one is with the Rams. They ran. This is like McVay and McVay's trio. Connell was like this for a long time. 11 personnel. They always lead the league. They always have 3 wide receivers on the field. He evolves better than any coach in the league.
Yeah.
You look at his run game, 8 years ago, zone.
Definitely.
Now it's like we could punch you in the mouth.
Now
and
he does everything.
Downhill.
Right.
Yesterday, Chris, they were in 13 personnel.
They got the 13 again, huh?
Over 62% of the game.
Wow. That's their new weapon. I mean, we broke this down a few weeks ago, right?
Yes.
They put you in a real spot there because you're right. They can throw out of it. That's the point. They really, with all 3 of those guys, Colby Parkinson, the kid from Oregon.
Terrence Ferguson.
Right. I mean, they can run. They're pretty good blockers.
And Davis Allen.
Same thing. So, you look at all 3 of those guys right there, and you go, that puts you in a spot right there because they can run the ball, and now they got big people in. and they love to run play action pass and do that. I think it was the 49ers game a few weeks ago when we broke this down, when they had a lot of the 3 tight ends on the field, right, for the Tuesday podcast. But yeah, that's their other avenue, and they might have to dive into that more now without having Devontae Adams with the hamstring thing. Might have to rely on it more. But Matthew Stafford, MVP of football, continues to play awesome in that regard. And they just make so many big plays. And, of course, that's spearheaded by Puka Nacua, like Sean McVay said, who's just, an absolute monster in every aspect of the wide receiver position.
So the only downside of this game for the Rams, Devontae Adams, of course, exited the second half with a hamstring injury. Sean McVay said, I can't imagine that's good for Thursday with just a short amount of time, but I certainly wouldn't rule him out quite yet, but it didn't look good. So Devontae's been dealing with soft tissue injuries going back to when he was on the Raiders.
Yeah, right. This is scary. And when you get to this age, you get worried about it, right? And of course, where it is on the hamstring and all that. It's McVay made a quote after the game where he's not ready to rule him out for Thursday yet.
Yeah, he said he wouldn't. It just didn't look good.
Yeah. So again, and Devontae might be a smart enough guy to know, like, ooh, it grabbed a little bit. Let me just give up before I try to take one more stride and something bad happens. Hopefully that's the case, right? Because if there's a flaw with them, we talked about the zone on defense, and they're not incredibly deep at receiver. So that would be the other thing you'd look at with their football team. They need Devontae Adams. And the ability that he plays Puka and Devontae off of each other, to me, is as good as anybody in the sport as far as what McVay and Stafford do with those 2 receivers. And that's what makes them so dangerous. But, I mean, come on, 519 yards. That Lions defense, once again. And what I've been interested in, maybe you could look this up as we go here. Did the Rams blitz more in the second half? Did the Rams play more aggressively in the second half? In the first half, it just felt like Jared Goff was in the pocket, and it was Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown just running everywhere, running wild. I mean, this is a team that they had almost 275 yards at the half. And then after that, for the rest of the football game, they only got 120 yards. But to me, it felt like the run game never got going. And then on top of that, the second half, it felt like Jared Goff definitely was a little more uncomfortable in the pocket, right? Got moved off the spot like we've talked about a little bit there. And they couldn't quite find a rhythm for their offense to keep pace with the Rams and what they did.
So the pass blitzing isn't wildly different from half to half. It was a little higher in the first half, but there's a difference in how they blitzed.
Okay.
The first half was what we talk about all the time, the simulated pressures.
So it was one in, one out. So I don't count that as pressure.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So that you're right. In the second half, what they did was they completely nuked the sim pressures. They just basically didn't do it anymore, and they started bringing more true 5- and 6-man pressures.
That's what it felt like.
You're absolutely right. They just said, screw it. We're just going to bring true. We're coming. Like, we're not.
It just felt like there was a lot of throws where he was like fighting away and doing that, or oh no, I got to move at the last second. So
and basically, and this is to what you're saying. In the first half, they tried to confuse him.
Yeah,
and it just didn't really work.
Oh, it's like,
and then the second half, they said, "We're blitzing you.
Right.
We are going to make you move.
Right.
Figure it out."
Yeah.
And that worked.
That's those simulated pressures. They're good. They are, but like we talked about, when you play a good blitz. Well, when you play a good quarterback with a good offensive line who's played together and been coached, they usually can figure out how to pick it up. So big win by the Rams, and they're certainly sitting pretty in the NFC in a big showdown on Thursday night against the Seattle Seahawks.
For Detroit, kind of crazy right now. They don't control their path to the playoffs.
Nope.
They have alternated wins and losses in their last 10 games.
Isn't that crazy?
That's one of the most insane stats of the week. They're 3-4 on the road this season. They're 5-2 at home. That's not really shocking. I feel like Detroit is just, they have a real home field advantage. They like that environment.
Right.
Obviously, they play to their crowd and everything. So the NFC standings right now, which are just absolutely ridiculous. They can ping pong at any moment across this entire thing. Detroit and Dallas are on the outside looking in. The Panthers are on the outside looking in. We'll get to that game. But Chris, one loss at any moment, and this thing can entirely flip on its head.
Totally. That's where you don't know where it goes here down the stretch. Feel pretty good about San Francisco making the playoffs because they don't have a terribly tough schedule. So you look at that and go, they play Seattle one more time, and the other 2 games are definitely winnable football games. I believe they got.
I'll tell you right now.
They got the Browns, no, not the Browns. They got the Bears too. I might be wrong.
They are at Indy.
Okay,
they're
Indy.
They're home to the Bears.
Okay,
and then they're home to Seattle.
They're not out of the woods yet. I spoke too quickly there with that one there.
But it's not a buzzsaw.
It's not a buzzsaw. But either way, that is a little tougher than I expected it to be. But yeah, at the bottom there, I mean, again, the Lions can still win the NFC North, as we know. I mean, so that's what's crazy. And Steve Kornacki last night on our Football Night in America, he basically said that's their best way to get to the playoffs. Their highest
wild card
percentage
is ridiculous.
is just to hope that the Bears lose a game or two, and then they can win out, and then they can make the playoffs that way. But as we know, the NFC is a real deal this year, especially with Green Bay being a 7 seed, and we know how talented they are. I think that says it all.
The game that everybody had their eyes on this weekend, Seahawks-Colts, where the Seahawks win with a field goal at the end, 18-16. But the story of this game, Chris, was about the return of 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. What's the headline for this one?
Cry me a Rivers.
Yeah.
All right. It was a good game by Phillip Rivers, and in a lot of ways. I mean, again, it wasn't sexy. It's not pretty. They had the right approach, the Indianapolis Colts. Right approach to playing the game for what their quarterback was, and then team rised up around them, and I think they felt a little bit I think they got a little lucky of the Seahawks, maybe a little on an emotional down. Wait, it's the Colts, it's Phillip Rivers, we're at home, we're going to whoop their ass. That shouldn't be a problem, right? But really, the Colts, the defense was damn good throughout the day. Bend, don't break. They played the field position game, run the ball, chew the clock, a ton of 4- and 5-yard throws, right? Keep the ball, again, ball control passing offense is what I call that at times. It wasn't pretty by any stretch. It was screen here, throw to the back here, another screen there. I think there was maybe 2 to 3 throws of the day that traveled over 10 yards in the air.
And they didn't look
They
great
didn't look
all
great.
the time.
And so, that's what we're going to see going forward. But it was there to be had for the Colts. But ultimately, hey, the Seahawks, with their backs against the wall, made some clutch drives late in the football game to get points. Field goals only, but at least it was points.
Yeah, Jason Myers, Seattle franchise record, 6 field goals made. After this game, we got to hear from Phillip Rivers on what it was like getting hit again in the NFL.
I never minded that part of it. It actually was, my wife always tells me I'm crazy because there's been times in the last 3 or 4 years I said, I kind of wish I could just throw one and get hit hard. She's like, that's not normal.
Not surprising.
No, well, I think that's probably something we could put on a T-shirt. I mean, psycho in a good way. That's usually a good football player is a psycho in a good way, and there is something to that. And damn, I mean, I'd like to go out there and get hit too in a lot of ways. I feel you. I mean, that's just the way you think. And as for a quarterback, that's always the first thing when you haven't played in a while is just get that first hit. Let me feel like I'm part of the game. That happened pretty quickly for him. But he never looked like flustered or nervous in the pocket.
No.
Right?
And above the shoulder is still as sharp as anyone you'll ever see.
He knew where he wanted to go with the ball. Yeah, the question with him going forward is can he scare defenses and back them off enough to make some big plays? Like whoever they play next, right, is going to look at that and go, why was Seattle worried about the deep post route here and stuff like that, right?
The Niners.
Right. It's the Niners. So the Niners are not going to give these short little completions. There's no way Robert Saleh will go down like that. And that's what we're going to see with the Colts as they go forward. Can he push the ball down the field to scare some people that way? Regardless, good win for Seattle. Good not falling into the ultimate trap game of a 44-year-old quarterback coming up at home. They didn't play their best, but Darnold made some big throws when he had to. And the crazy thing about the sport is, there they are, and you go, they're down by 1 point, and just like we've talked about before, you hit 2 throws and you're in field goal position.
Right.
He hits Rashid Shaheed twice, and it's like, oh, okay, they're in field goal position. And then Myers hits a 56-yarder. Gave the ball back to the Colts for a chance to do something, but as we know, Phillip Rivers threw the interception, and that was all she wrote.
For Seattle, it was their 4th straight win. They're tied with the Rams for the best record in the NFC. Both are 11-3 right now, but despite all that, they are the 5 seed in the NFC. They still control their path to the division title and the number 1 seed, of course, though, which is...
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty yesterday. I think Lou Anarumo had a nice day for the Colts.
I think so, too. The thing I worry about with the Seahawks a little bit is just overall creativity. Right, when I watch them on film, not that I say the offense is really simple, right?
Sure.
But I don't sit there and go, oh, wow, right? It's got all the good basics, don't get me wrong, right? It's almost what I would call, in my ways, like Shanahan light. It's like the
That's not
basics of the
shocking.
Kyle Shanahan offense, but without some of the trickeration and all the bells and hoops and whistles he's got to go along with it to keep you off stuff. There's that. And as we discussed last week in the pod, I think they got to do a better job of playing Shaheed and JSN off of each other. Instead of, hey, JSN, you're over here, you're going to run the concept. And then, hey, if Rashid Shaheed's one-on-one, you could throw him the ball. No, I want to see some plays called for Rashid Shaheed.
Yep.
I want to see Rashid Shaheed lining up next to JSN and doing what the Rams do to people with Puka and Devontae and basically making you pick your poison with two great receivers lined up to each other, you running complementary routes. That's where I think they could go next level a little bit in their offense.
Despite a great effort for the Colts, it was their 4th straight loss since they started the season 8-2. They do not control their path to the playoffs.
They're in deep crap.
They are. Our next one here, before we get to the headline for the Ravens beating the Bengals 24-0, let's hear from Ravens defensive end Draymond Jones. Maybe he's got a version of his own.
I mean, we didn't really discuss the fact like they have 0 points to keep. I think we just wanted to attack. We knew we had them on their heels, just by how they were calling it, how they looked, their demeanor, and they didn't feel lively to me. And I feel like we just wanted to attack them. I thought we did that.
Sorry, Draymond. What did you sense that early in the game?
I felt that play one that they weren't ready to play. It was too cold for them.
Ooh,
Damn.
that's a tough one.
That
Too
is a
cold
tough one. Yeah.
in the NFL.
Right.
And it's not like you're the Miami Dolphins.
No, exactly right. I mean, you'd think they're living there, they would be used to it.
Right.
Right.
You got a headline for this?
Yeah, house cats, right? House cats, they want to get outside. They just want to stay home and
Curl up.
open up a can of wet food for me so I can eat and say that, right? They need some alley cat in them. That's what they need.
Oh, boy.
They need to be let outside every now and then. You can't declaw them, right? You got to let them out. I'm a cat guy. I've had them before. I let them outside all the time. I don't just keep them in the house. You can't do that
Too
to a
cozy.
cat. Yeah, you got to toughen them up a
It
little bit.
hurts their survival instinct.
It does. Now, I thought that was and I heard John Harbaugh say this after the game, but this was the best the Ravens looked. I mean, it felt like since Lamar Jackson's been back. Right. Lamar's stats aren't going to blow you out of the water, but if you watch the 8 completions in which he threw for 150 yards, which, is a lot of yards per completion, you'd go, oh, wow, those were impressive throws. The ball looked clean coming out of his hands. I mean, it was accurate with aggressive throws down the football field. They ran the ball well, and then their defense made plays. And I think you couple that with, I think Joe Burrow tried to do too much yesterday. Joe Burrow, I think he's feeling the pressure. He wants to win, whatever else. I know he made the comments after the game, no team in football would have won today with the way I played. Yeah, he made some uncharacteristic mistakes, whether being a little too cute on the interception, people around trying to loft the ball over the middle where it's like, man, that's going to have to be the most perfect throw ever to complete that, right? And again, he's got the talent to do that type of stuff, but there's that. Right, he threw in that interception in field goal range. The drive before that, he took a huge sack when they were in field goal range and lost like 15 or 20 yards and knocked them out of field goal range. So I think there was those plays. They had a 4th down later in the game where he threw the ball to Gesicki. I believe it was 17-0 at this point. It might have been 14-0. And they go for it on 4th and 4, 4th and 5-ish in field goal range. And he tries to make too much happen to Gesicki down the middle, and he's got the 2 under routes for the first down. Like, easy, catch the ball, run. They're going to get 10, 15 yards. But he had made up his mind there. And then, of course, we know he had the interception at the end where Van Noy pitched it back to Alohi Gilman.
Ridiculous
Right?
play.
That was a ridiculous, awesome play by the Ravens.
Handing a baton
flawlessly. But, man, the Bengals, I mean, kind of showing little signs of dysfunction here, and especially on the heels of what Joe Burrow has said in the media here as of late. And the Ravens played some damn good football yesterday.
We haven't talked about this yet.
Yeah.
And maybe we have a longer combo on it tomorrow. But, I mean, you've been a quarterback in the NFL. What was your takeaway? Because everyone's trying to dissect this to he's not happy with the organization. He's not happy with himself. He's not – like, is there anything to dissect with this, or do you think it could be just everything?
I think it's probably everything, but I think it's more about the organization himself and how that ties together. Right, like I've heard people like, oh gosh, he sounds like he's a guy like maybe he's gonna retire or something like that, right? Yeah. Like, no way. Joe Burrow loves football.
Yeah, no
He's
shot.
obsessed with football. That's why he's probably depressed because he's like, wait, I'm I'm a great, and I can't get to the damn playoffs. I can't even stay healthy because we can't protect, and we never play good early in the year, so I get my ass beat all the time. And then the organization doesn't, produce for me and help me out that way. And gosh, if you just get me in a big game, am I not awesome every time I'm in a big game? You see me in the playoffs, I'm the guy that beat Mahomes. I had him on the ropes another time. Josh Allen can't beat me. I mean, all that. So he's looking at that, I think, overall, probably frustrated with his team, frustrated with the injuries, and understanding, I think, big picture a little bit like, damn, my legacy's really getting hurt by the situation I'm in right now. And I think he's probably frustrated by that and feels that he goes, is me and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins got to carry the team every week?
Yeah,
and that's just not
possible.
fair, right? It's not fair. And I think all of that's kind of coming to a head right now.
I also think he's a guy, obviously very aware, very smart. Like, he probably knows that they have the smallest scouting staff in football.
Definitely.
And it's not close. It's not close.
Definitely.
They don't even actually have a employee with a real GM title. Duke Tobin, yes, theoretically is the GM. But, the fact that we have to remind everybody that he's not really the GM, but he is the GM.
Yeah.
The fact that there's never really a lot of urgency and turnover on the coaching staff, and a lot of it feels financially influenced.
Right, exactly.
You're
saying it all right.
Yeah, I think it was a direct shot to ownership.
I'd be scared
which
if
he's
I
done
was the
before.
Bengals. Right.
When the receivers weren't extended, he used his press conferences to kind of put the leverage.
He did. He started the Super Bowl last year. Remember when he went at Radio Row? He was like, "Well, the Eagles seem to have no problems paying for people." Right. That was the first time I was like, "Whoa, those are shots fired." But yeah, I'd be worried if I'm the Bengals in their organization right now. I'd be worried if I was ownership, and I would be worried if I was the head coach because, yes, the best player on the team doesn't seem happy with anything, and that's never good for the people in the higher-up positions. And Burrow has power, not only power because he's one of the best quarterbacks in football, but because he's an Ohio kid, he's really got the state behind him. He's got the fan base behind him, and
Nobody
they know
will
how
blame
good
him.
he is, and they've never had a quarterback like him. And he's in a very interesting position where he can really put a lot of pressure on this organization, unlike other teams.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I think he's one of a handful of players in the league that could NBA-ify.
Yeah, right.
Like, if he's like, I'm never playing for you again, you have to trade me. He's one of the guys that holds that. He doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think he's going to do that.
But he can do that.
But he can do that.
I
And you
agree.
can't say that about a lot of people in the NFL.
No.
It's just not set up to be that way, but he holds that power.
He definitely does.
That was Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. We're taking one more break. When we're back, we're looking at the teams who took care of business in Week 15.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code CORNERBACK when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Let's take a look at the NFC North odds from DraftKings. The Bears plus 110, the Packers minus 105. They are the favorite, despite being 9-4-1, while the Bears are 10-4, and that's because they play on Saturday. And then the Lions, not dead yet, 10-1, 8-6. Steelers, Vikings, and of course they play the Bears the last week of the season. So,
Somebody's getting left out of these, sir.
Which is
it feels like
crazy.
only 2 out of the 3 are going to make it.
Yep.
As it stands here.
Because of the fact that they play each other.
Yeah, they play
Two
each
of those
other.
times.
I mean, I don't think Seattle and San Francisco are going to fall off to such
I
a
don't
capacity where it's like there's a lot of spots open here. So one wins the division, one's going to get that last wild card spot or 2 and be there. So that's where we're at. And, you know, I listen, there was a few weeks ago where I went, well, it'll probably be the Bears that fall off. The Bears will be the team that falls off. Right, it's been a good run. They did some good things. Their schedule is so tough here down the stretch. The Bears have been maybe the biggest surprise to me of all. The way they're winning, the way they're playing, you know, going into Philadelphia, beating them, having a chance to beat Green Bay in Green Bay last week, right? I have turned the corner, I think, in the last 3 weeks of going, hey, the Bears are a cool story, to like, man, I like the way the Bears play. The Bears are actually starting to be kind of scary with the way their defense is playing, and their run game works against anybody, right? And that's where you start to look at the Bears and go, damn, they can make some moves.
They smoked the Browns yesterday, 31-3. They're 10-2 since they started 0-2, which is just unbelievable. It feels like years ago at this point. I thought Caleb Williams had the best throw of the weekend.
Best throw of the weekend, best play of the weekend. I don't know if that was good or lucky, but it was incredible.
Yeah, but you're right.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
The fact that he could throw it that hard
that's what
on the move.
That's what it is
where I'm like, you know what? Maybe 3 guys in the NFL are allowed to do that, but you should be allowed to do that.
You're one of them. You're one of them, right? I mean,
that's why you draft him number 1 overall.
Exactly. I mean, we've talked about him throwing on the run. I mean, it's as strong an arm as I've ever seen.
Yep.
It is. It's right there. It's stronger than Josh Allen on the run, and I didn't think I'd ever say that in my life, right? Which I never thought I'd say it in my life after I saw Brett Favre throw balls on the run, and then Josh Allen passed that up. So, yeah, that's where it's incredible. But I also think not only the play of the day, but I will see your throw of the weekend and go, I think he actually played his best game in the pocket the whole year.
That's probably the more important story.
That was the more important story, right? And that's one of those where a little bit like we talked about with Denver before with Bo Nix. Like if he throws like that and makes these kind of plays in the pocket and does that, watch out, Denver's going to be tough to beat. Kind of feel the same way with Chicago. It's like, hey, their run game's an unstoppable force. Their defense isn't perfect, but they're going to create a few turnovers every game. And if the pass game can just become a little bit more machine-like in the pocket, and I'm just talking about hit the throws that are there. Because Caleb Williams, for as talented as he is, guys being wide open in the normal drop-back pass game, he's like 3 for 4, right? It's like he hits 75. It's like if we just take everybody off the field and there's 4 guys open, or, you know, a guy open 4 plays in a row, he only hits it 3 out of 4 times. And I would go, no, great quarterback should hit those 4 out of 4 every time, right? So he's making those plays. He made a lot of big-time plays and throws in the pocket, ball on the money, and then, of course, ran the ball. And then their defense, they played it the right way, too, early. They were conservative. They realized they were playing a Browns offense that's not great. Yep. They kind of played the field position. Let's not take too many chances. Ben Johnson did go for it on 4th down one time in the middle of the field, which I thought was stupid against the Browns, as we know.
Right, you don't need
to. Don't need to. Don't jumpstart them. Don't do any of that. And that's how the Browns got their field goal. But other than that, the Bears played really good, complete football, and are starting to really impress me on both sides of the ball.
Not a lot for the Browns side. Myles Garrett, 1.5 sacks away from setting the NFL single-season record. We'll all be watching that. The Browns are 1-14 in their last 15 road games, going back to last year. Shedeur, 177 passing yards, 3 picks. He took 5 sacks. He's 1-3 now as the Browns' starting quarterback. An absolute stinker, but not if you're an Eagles fan. They beat the Raiders 31-0. With Dallas losing on Sunday Night Football, they lead Dallas by 2.5 games in the NFC East. They can clinch that division with a win or a Dallas loss in any of these final 3 weeks. So for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, clean game, 3 touchdown passes, no picks. I think the Raiders are going to be picking first overall, Chris.
I mean, I would think so. The Raiders are, I think, without question, the most embarrassing team in all of football right now. I mean, embarrassing, right? I mean, what is there? Brock Bowers and Max Crosby. Other than that, that's it. That's it. I mean, it's scary. The coaching's not good, right? I mean, their defense, which I used to think was good, feels like Pete Carroll's got involved on that side of the ball to where, like, I feel like I had a good feel for what Patrick Graham likes to do on the defensive side of the ball, and it seems like it's changed a little bit as lately, which I don't think it's for the better. Offensively, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. I mean, absolutely. I mean, come on. How many total yards did they have yesterday? 75? 75 in the NFL?
Kenny Pickett had 64 passing yards on 30 dropbacks.
That's
almost.
It's
almost, very hard.
It's comical. It's hard to do. Exactly right. With the league and the rules set up the way it is, and then hey, the Eagles look good. They were efficient. They didn't have to throw the ball a whole lot. It was just a slow beatdown. That's all it was. Totally outclassed the Raiders, and the Raiders are going to have some tough conversations as soon as this season's over.
Yeah, Fernando Mendoza, congrats on the Heisman, but you're probably going to the Raiders unless the Giants really.
Well, we don't need a quarterback, so we won't be taking Mendoza. Oh yeah, you're right. It's all right.
So if the Giants win, the Raiders will pick number 1.
Right.
If the Giants lose and pick number 1, the Giants will trade that pick for another team to get.
I would think so, right?
So that game is actually massive.
Yeah, massive. And the Giants have been known to win those kind of games for some reason lately.
They're good for those. The Texans smoked the Cardinals 40-20. Houston's now 1 game behind Jacksonville, who's also playing really, really well. The Texans, after all of this winning, they've been 9-2 since an 0-3 start. They're just the 7th seed in the AFC, but they control their path to the playoffs. Awesome C.J. Stroud day, Chris, and Nico Collins' 3rd straight season with 1,000+ receiving yards.
Hey, you know my thoughts about this football team. I think they can go to the Super Bowl.
Dangerous.
I think their offense is starting to really come together. You're seeing that. C.J. Stroud's been playing real good football. They're making explosive plays. I mean, what was it? 2nd, 3rd play of the game, 60-yard touchdown. Nico Collins, boom. Cardinals fumble the next kick return. 10-0 Texans. Boom. Oh, yeah, that's just what you want to do and be in Houston down 10 with that defense, right? Then they I think 3 and out, get the ball at midfield, score a touchdown, 17-0. Game over.
It was over.
Game over. That was it. And, this is one of those games where you look at Houston and they're probably going to be pissed off that they won because they're going to be – what stinks for a team like this where they're trying to be a special defense, they go up 30-7. And as you know, it's like the foot comes off the gas pedal. The other team gets a bunch of cheap yards, right?
Cardinals are the masters of that.
They're the masters of it. So the Texans are going to go like, well, we lost yards per game and all these damn things that we didn't want to lose because we whooped your ass so badly, Arizona, that we actually kind of gave up in the second half and let you have some cheap stats that way.
Another game very similar. Jacksonville beat the Jets 48-20. I was covering this game. Jacksonville could have scored 75 points if they wanted to.
Yes.
That's why Steve Wilkes was fired this morning.
And Steve Wilkes fired, which again, I don't think is shocking to either one of us. No. And also on top of that, Aaron Glenn, please coach the defense.
I'm begging him.
All right. I'm glad to do it. Here. I know you're on all your Jet stuff. And if you want to throw my name in there and go, hey, this idiot I work with, Chris Simms, also says you need to call it, feel free to use my name, all right?
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, that needs to go there. But just like we said with the Bears and Caleb Williams and a little there, I mean, or Bo Nix in Denver, one of the best games I ever seen Trevor Lawrence play.
Phenomenal.
I know it's the Jets, but the Jets have been pretty good in pass defense this year, right? And Trevor, again, it's not about just all the stats and all that. It's just the look. It's drop back, and it's just whoosh, boom, on the money. Oh, drop back. Oh, boom, on the money. Oh, drop back. Oh, nobody's open. Oh, wait. Oh, all right, I'm going to make a play. Oh, I'm going to scramble, or I'm going to make a move and then make a pass. I mean, really had it rolling. You can't say enough about what Liam Cohn, Ben Johnson have done with these younger quarterbacks and kind of rewiring and retooling them to where Trevor Lawrence was almost a walking meme 7 weeks ago. Now he's becoming like, man, every throw he throws is on the money. Every throw he throws is for a touchdown or a big play. They really got it going in Jacksonville. And Jacksonville's another team where, just like Houston, whatever, I feel like we're disrespecting them a little bit. I know it's the Jets, but there's really not a lot of weakness with Jacksonville when you look at their roster, right?
Liam Cohen.
Yes.
He's a guy.
He's a guy.
I'll say it right now.
No
Liam
doubt about
Cohen
it.
Is absolutely
He's a
great
stud.
hire.
He's a stud. And they always have a good game plan. They're physical in the run game. They've got a good O-line, good receivers, good running backs. Their defense is good, as we've talked about. They got it all. They can play man-to-man in certain situations and do that. So I do think I know the public needs to see the Jags win a big game or a playoff game, but I think they're one of these teams that, again, don't be surprised if they win a game, maybe even 2 in the AFC playoffs. They're capable of that.
Strangest stat from this game, Travis Etienne caught 3 touchdowns. He had 3 career receiving touchdowns entering the game.
It's crazy.
Wild stat. Once again, Jacksonville on offense could have done whatever they wanted. They are absolutely rolling right now. But they only hold a 1-game lead over Houston in the AFC South. They can clinch the playoffs this week with a win and a loss once again by the Colts or Texans, as you see the remaining schedules for both the Jaguars and the Texans right now. I don't know if either team is going to – well, Jacksonville, Denver's – they'll be underdogs in that game.
That's a big one this week.
Yeah, they'll be underdogs in that game. But other than that, these teams should, in theory, be thinking about winning out.
I would think so.
I know the Chargers will not be easy for the Texans.
No, but we know the Chargers aren't a full-strength football team, and
they protect
they're kind of
Herbert.
just figuring, they can't protect
the
Herbert.
Texans.
It seems like it's a matchup that favors the Texans there.
Right.
I don't know who's going to win that one there, but I do think that both of them can be a major player in the AFC playoffs and definitely shock people. And as you've heard me say, Houston, I say, can go to the Super Bowl. That's how strongly I believe in them. I don't know about the Jaguars if I believe to that extent. I think they can win a few playoff games, maybe not get to the Super Bowl.
The 49ers beat the Titans 37-24, but make no mistake, this game was not close. It was 31-10 at the start of the fourth quarter. Fourth straight win for San Francisco. They're 6-1 coming off the bye since 2019. 10-plus wins for the fourth time in the last 5 seasons.
Yeah.
That really says a lot to me about the program they have in San Francisco.
They're special. Shanahan's special. Probably doesn't get enough credit that he deserves. He's a Super Bowl coach who's yet to win the Super Bowl because he had to deal with one of the greatest we've ever seen in Mahomes, who he had down in the fourth quarter both times, and they couldn't do it. You could argue Shanahan could be coach of the year this year with this team, what games they won with Mac Jones.
Easily.
Right? All of that. But we got Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen, we just talked about, who were doing unbelievable things too. This game was about Brock Purdy in the past game. It really was. They made a lot of big plays early on. They were consistent with the run game, but really early on in the football game, it was a lot of big plays going back and forth between both teams. Cam Ward hit a few big throws. Gunnar Helm had one big play. Ayamanuor had another big play. Pollard ripped off a big run or two in the first half to where it was like, hey, the 49ers offense looks great, but man, are the Titans going to make plays and keep this game close? But like you said, the 49ers just kept making plays on offense. Yeah. It just kept on going. And Purdy made some plays with his legs, and I think it was one of the first games we saw multiple receivers in the pass game really contribute, right?
Yeah, Pearsall and Jennings had it going.
Yeah, and then Kittle got it going too, and it just felt like, we haven't seen the offense maybe function in the pass game at this high of a level in a while. That was encouraging to see. We know the 49ers are going to be a pain in the ass on D. They're going to run the ball. If Purdy can play like that, they're going to be scary too.
The Titans are tied with the Giants and Raiders for the worst record in the NFL at 2-12, but they hold the third overall pick in the draft because of strength of schedule. The next one, a stunner. The Saints beat the Panthers 2017. I don't know if stunner actually is the right description because the Panthers have had clunky games like this all year.
I mean, they lost to the Saints a few weeks ago.
That's exactly right. First time this season the Saints have won back-to-back games. They're 5-1 in their last 6 against Carolina. Tyler Shuck is playing really, really well right now.
They got their guy. I think they're getting to the point here where you go, don't worry about what pick you got. You don't have to take a quarterback. Improve your football team. I mean, he's kind of doing it all. I mean, there's nothing not to like about it. They didn't run the ball worth a damn yesterday. They had to win the game with Tyler Shuck throwing the ball and then playing some defense. And that's what they did. That's really what it is. He's playing in the pocket, mature brand of football for a young quarterback. I mean, makes a lot of high-level throws. You're starting to see him make some aggressive throws down the football field. Man, Brandon Staley, the defensive coordinator for the Saints, he's showing he's a pain in the ass here on a week.
He's quietly had a
strong year, right? Yeah. And then, Carolina, it's the same thing. Now, hello, Carolina. Keep pounding, Carolina. I want to take so many cheap shots at you guys for all the cheap shots you and your fan base took at me after I predicted that the Rams would move the ball every drive of the game against you guys. And, he made some turnovers, Matthew Stafford. But, damn. Should I make as many videos as you guys made of me? Should I? I think I might do it. # keep pounding. We're going to do it. I might just get in all your mentions that were in my mentions, all right? So, yes, that was a nice victory you guys had a few weeks ago, but you have flaws in your football team. We'll stand by that, okay? Again, defensively, we've seen them get picked apart in the pass game. Again, just like Matthew Stafford did, except he just made 2 mistakes. I know. Gosh, who would make a mistake in a football game? I've never heard of that. So, they can get picked apart. They have a little bit of like what we talked about with the Rams, a lot of zone. So you can pick that apart. And if you got a good quarterback with a coordinator now to expose it, right? There's that. And then as we've said before, there's been very few games where if they don't run the ball, the pass game can carry the workload for the Carolina Panthers. Very few. And this kind of fell into that category too. Yeah, ugly loss for the Carolina Panthers. They had it set up where if they won yesterday, if they beat Tampa at home next week, they win the division.
Right.
Now, That's not the case. They can win next week and still not clinch the division. So that's where that was a big game yesterday and certainly a big loss for the Carolina Panthers.
That division totally up in the air still after things looked pretty grim after Thursday Night Football. This is going to come right down to the wire. It's so funny looking at the NFC bracket and how different those two teams look compared to
the whole NFC.
Seven
is amazing.
Seeds got double-digit
wins.
wins.
South, and we're like,
it's going to make for an interesting
none of you
wild
guys
card
are
round.
good.
Sunday Night Football, the Vikings beat the Cowboys 34-26. A nice game for J.J. McCarthy, who has 5 touchdown passes and just 1 pick in his last 2 games. For Minnesota, 11 defenders registered a quarterback pressure. Brian Flores had these guys rolling.
He did. He really did. I mean, the start of the game was like, wow, Minnesota's got people up at the line of scrimmage, and they're blitzing and dropping people, and you're like, wow, are they really going to play like this? But I think they knew they had to do something extraordinary to kind of slow down this Cowboys offense, right? I think that's a big thing. And then, I think your point in what you're saying. J.J. McCarthy's maybe under more pressure than any player in the NFL right now. He's playing for his future job here.
That's exactly
for what Minnesota wants to do in the offseason, all of that. And this is where you go, hey, pump the brakes. Don't be too quick to judge some of these young quarterbacks at times. Last week was a good start, right? I didn't know if it would happen 2 weeks in a row, but I think 2 weeks in a row now, you saw him dice up Washington, and in this game, you just went, I saw a few more variety of throws, right? I saw some big throws into some tight windows. I mean, 15 completions for 250 yards. That tells you you're making some explosive plays. He's got a powerful arm. We know that. He can move and make some plays that way.
Sometimes.
I know it is. It's almost too powerful.
Yeah.
I think did you see the touchdown pass Justin Jefferson dropped in the back left corner?
Everybody was on Jefferson. That ball was thrown 200 miles an hour.
It was 200 miles per hour.
And he was wide open.
And he was wide open. And I just think Justin Jefferson was like, wait, I'm wide open.
Yeah.
He can't be throwing it this hard. And I think it snuck up on him.
Yeah.
And just snuck through his hands, right? But, yeah, those are the things he's figuring out. But I saw a few touch passes in the game, right? It's not perfect. The fourth down.
Yeah.
He had the little back shoulder to Naylor, right?
That was great to see him throw a change.
Exactly right.
Comfortably.
So now you go, okay, he's got that in his arsenal. And now he's starting to get comfortable. And now they can start to open up the offense. But, yeah, that was a bad loss for the Dallas Cowboys. I felt like Jerry Jones was about to puke in the fourth quarter. He looked like he was up there like, oh, man, we made all these trades, and I thought we were still going to sneak our way in the playoffs, and we ain't going to do shit. We're going home. Yep. And wasn't. And, I mean, Dak Prescott made some plays, all of that, but it's that Cowboys defense just not good enough.
Yeah, and the Superman of kickers, Brandon Aubrey, missed 2 field
that's
goals.
Another big part of it. You're right about that. I mean, those are two big field goals and 2 big moments.
The pace of the game.
Exactly.
Because you look at the score, like, he missed 2 field goals, they would have lost. Like, no, it changed the game.
It changed the game. It definitely did. It gave the
Vikings
the short field, and I think that was the drive there where they just had to go 50 yards and threw the touchdown to Naylor for the touchdown, I believe, right?
Yeah, because with Aubrey, they'll try to kick from midfield.
Exactly.
And what you forget about that is if you miss, it's even bigger repercussions.
No question.
Dallas now a 1% chance of making the playoffs after a strong kind of rebound after the trade deadline starting to fizzle. The last one, Chris, the Commanders beat the Giants 29-21. Washington snapped an 8-game losing streak. They have 4 straight wins over the Giants. That matches their longest streak against the Giants in the last 40 years. 8th straight loss for the Giants, who currently hold the first overall pick in next year's draft.
Yeah, I mean, Giants do some good things on the offensive side of the ball. Kind of just seem to make some mistakes in some of the biggest moments. I think that's probably one thing you can look at. And then just, again, the Giants' defense just disappointing. Right. Especially with some of the defensive linemen we got. I say we, because I'm a Giant fan. And just the ability in which Washington ran the ball and ripped off plays that way. And not that the pass game was efficient for Mariota and company all the time, but when they did get a pass, it was a big pass. It felt like it was like, oh, there goes 25 yards. Right. There goes 20 yards. It was one of the few games where the Giants hung around but did not feel like they were as emotionally in it as some of the other games we've seen this year.
Right.
And of course, with Dan Quinn and the Commanders kind of being embarrassing as of late, they came out of the blocks firing and looked like they were the more determined team, played better football, and we'll see. I'm one of those where it's like, I want the Giants to win because I do believe it builds something.
Right, especially for Dart.
But at the same time, when it's not the coach you're going into the next year with, I don't care as much. So this might be a year where I'm like, don't win. And let's get the number 1 pick and maybe get some more draft picks and build the football team here.
If the Giants can lose to the Raiders, which is going to be tough, they can auction that pick off for a haul that could change their franchise.
Yeah.
And there was the special teams horrific yesterday. That's a story with the Giants.
Oh my
for too
gosh,
long.
exactly.
But I
right.
thought Abdul Carter was noticeable.
He definitely was noticeable. I think he had his most noticeable game.
That's how I was when I was watching. I was like, it's good to see Abdul Carter look like the guy we thought they were getting.
Got a sack, was disruptive a bunch of other times. Definitely was around the ball a lot, 100%. After the embarrassment, I think, of New England and all that stuff there, he certainly was better in this football game. Yeah, we'll see where it goes with the Giants. Maybe even a number 2 pick. They could still probably ask for a trade haul, but yeah, to be the number 1 pick would certainly make me feel a lot better as a Giants fan.
If Dante Moore declares after the college football playoff, the number 2 pick becomes
really expensive.
I think teams will really like him.
Yeah.
I know he's further away than Mendoza in terms of being ready.
But his physical ability is better.
You've seen him all year.
Yeah.
Our Big Ten
he can throw,
coverage.
he can run, he can do it all.
Yep.
All right, everybody, you know it. That's it. YouTube Live Monday in the books. YouTube Live Tuesday 2 p.m. not in the books. Come in, check us out, send some questions, subscribe, rate, review. You got something for me to look at? A play, a moment? We'll break it down. We'll do it all tomorrow. I'll do it right here and point it out and go, look how dumb your team was. Look what they did in this big moment.
Look at you,
Or
Panthers.
look how smart they are. Yes, we probably are going to do a Panthers breakdown because I have to take my shots at you. All right? You took your shots at me. It's my turn now. All right, everybody? Dude, thanks for driving the ship as always.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Everybody, you know where to find us. We'll be back tomorrow. YouTube Live, 2 p.m. Eastern. Peace out. Enjoy Monday Night Football. We'll see you.